Good afternoon, everybody. We're almost there. Can I just start by saying what a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have. Those last two sections I thought were inspirational, actually, and they give me immense optimism and hope for our collective future. I am nevertheless going to talk briefly about some of the threats I see on our horizon, because it was nice to be called experienced, actually. I usually get called veteran, which I'll take experience. But anyway, I've been doing this for a really rather long time, and actually it is indeed one of the most exciting times to be in marketing, but I hear lots of people talking about how marketing is completely different, how it's changed, how it's new, and how everything has moved on, and therefore I've structured a presentation around something I think is a fine example of new marketing. So if we can just play the video shortly.
Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha bait. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die, so many dumb ways to die.
So I'm going to talk about the 7 dumb ways that we can kill marketing. For those of you who don't know that film, it's actually a 3-minute, 20-second film from the metro trains in Melbourne, Australia. It's one of the things I think embodies the new marketing. It's a social and shareable idea, so social and shareable it's been viewed 123 million times. It's had 5 million shares, and actually that makes it the 3rd most shared ad, if we can call it that, of all time. But it wasn't just an ad, it was an integrated campaign. A spin-off game became the #1 app in 83 countries. 127 million people have stated that they would be safer around trains because of this campaign, and 65 million people made the effort actually to pledge online to be safe around trains. Now, by anybody's standards, that's a phenomenal success. But that's also a success that leads me to my first dumb way to die, which is believing that the definition of marketing has changed. If you put into Google later, preferably not now, has marketing changed, you'll see 1/3 billion entries that explain that it has. I disagree with all of them, actually. And I think once you begin to believe that the definition of marketing has changed, you're already on the way to killing it. I see lots of boards and companies winding down the marketing function while they ramp up digital and data units. And I say to them, be careful. You are confusing what marketing is about with the tools, channels, and feedback loops to do it. So that's dumb way to die, #1. Dumb way to die, #2, is being anything less than 100% customer obsessed. Now, if you work in financial services, there's no better sector, or should I say, no worse sector to work in to learn this lesson. So for around about 30 years around the world, financial services focused entirely on themselves and on their own self-interest. They forgot to focus on the customer, and we still suffer the consequences of that today. I think the same is true when people are obsessed with the competition. If you're obsessed with the customer, you will always win. I also think, and I've always been culpable of this myself, by the way, but this marketing is an interesting world because it's full of trends. Things come along and we love them all. So whether it's the age of interruption, the age of engagement, the age of disruption, the age of collaboration, dynamic content, media neutral, digital first, whatever it is, we all love to jump on those bandwagons and change the way we think about things. And I've said about this, I don't think we should be the dog that barks at every passing car. This is not a world where it's either or, it's and. It's not old media, new media, as I still hear people say. You have to do all of it. It isn't digital versus traditional. It isn't ads versus native content. It isn't creativity versus data. It's and. And what I think that means is these days, integration skills, collaboration skills, listening skills, and facilitating skills have never been more vital. I think we just saw two great examples of that. And marketeers need to keep an open mind, regardless of the industry pressure, to do exactly the opposite. Number 4, to my colleagues in procurement and finance, being on target and completely missing the point is another one I think that we can worry about. Given the spend in marketing, it's understandable it's come under scrutiny for efficiencies and delivering measurable targets, but I've seen good and bad procurement, and good procurement drives value in the company and is a good thing. Good finance understands that marketing is an investment that you do get a return from if you trust in your marketeers. But actually, one thing I think we all need to remember is we're supposed to be in the confidence industry. Marketing is the confidence industry, and it's the value creation industry, and we really should be showing much more confidence in the value that we help create. Number 5, focusing just on the what and how, but forgetting the why. Things do change, of course. Let's take programmatic, the thing that fascinates me. It's gone from 28% of digital display in 2013 to be forecast at 70% this year. You can't but wonder to what extent such a rate of change is driven by the panic to keep up rather than after deep contemplation. The ability to do programmatic is linked to data, especially first party, but then you've got to have relevant messages and relevant content. How many brands that have adopted it have adapted for it internally? Or in how they work with their agencies. In so much running faster, do they actually know where they are going? Have they worked out other important considerations like how programmatic affects customer loyalty or brand values, or indeed how the company is using data and who owns it? So marketeers and companies are always going to be tempted by the new and shiny, and being interested is fine, but change needs to be embraced with a purpose and a plan, and the long-term business benefits in marketing start with the why. After that comes the how and the what. Now, Unilever, a company innovating in all sorts of interesting ways, recently explained to their brand marketeers that they were adopting a zero budgeting approach. A couple of the marketing trade press, I think in rather ill-informed fashion, talked about this being the death of marketing and marketing budget cuts. I don't think it means that at all. What each brand has to do is put together a business case, argue that business case, and if it's a good business case that deserves an investment, here's a surprise, you get it, and if it isn't, you don't. So the most important question for a Unilever brand manager is no longer just how and what, it's why. This, I have to confess, is a bit of a pet hate of mine. The answer of everything is branded content. I don't think it is. Now, if you work in a bank, what you become crucially aware of is all your customers want is access to their money where they want it, whenever they want it, and actually they want the technology to work seamlessly. They want us to serve them well. I don't really think they're waiting for our next piece of branded content. And then this one, suicide by overdose, another one here. I mean, I think that there are two aspects to this. One is, at my age, I find myself, I think the object of, I'll call it tenacious targeting is apparently what it's called. I receive every day, without fail, an email about funeral planning. I know well the price of a funeral plan. You can get a really rather decent one in the UK for just £5.40 a month. And if I accept that offer by the end of the time I'm speaking, I could even get it for $4.99. Now, this is not making me feel good about targeting. And actually, it's a great example of targeting too hard. You target hard, you get a lower online response, you go back to targeting harder, and you diminish and repeat. I also think, as an industry, we've had a terrible habit of shouting louder in pursuit of share of voice. So Whichever media we've gone into, we've created all sorts of clutter, we've created all sorts of noise, and when it results in lower ad awareness, what do? We just spend more money and create more clutter. Now, not surprisingly, what this has led to is people are getting less and less responsive to advertising. They don't like it, and it's our fault. And if we're not careful, that's what's going to happen. I've seen some forecasts that actually show that by 2018, if ad blocking continues at the pace it's continuing, and if we continue to cause the problems we're causing, we will effectively kill advertising. That, I think, would be a woeful crime. It creates two real imperatives, two urgent solutions required. The first one is we've got to standardize and improve ad experience, and I'm talking here really in digital formats, and this is something the WFA is working at around the world so that we can get to an answer fast together, because I think that will help. The second one is, unfortunately, we've created an entire generation of people who think everything is free and they can get something for nothing. I think we need to go back to school, educate people again. You know, content shouldn't be free. We shouldn't be playing a zero-sum game. We should be helping content owners get paid for their content. We should have houses that are suitable for our advertising. But above all, we should do brilliant advertising. We are the people that can take care of that. You might think I'm being pessimistic here. I'm not, because, you know, I don't know about you, I really enjoyed listening to Tony this morning. And actually what I enjoyed about that is always nice to hear people say things that you believe yourself. I am a complete believer, always have been, that brand is absolutely everything. The brand must be owned by the CEO. The brand must be lived by everybody that works in the company, and it must really be understood. And I thought we had a fantastic case study demonstrating that. I've got two favorite definitions of brand, which I'll share with you. One is when I was working for Vodafone, my second CEO, Arun Sarin, once said on a platform, a brand is what a brand does, which is remarkably profound, and I immediately Googled it, thinking, I wonder where he nicked that from. And he hadn't. It was an original thought. And what he went on to explain is this is not, you know, everybody can do decent PowerPoint charts, everybody can explain what their brand is, you can all share with everybody. That's all entirely irrelevant. The only thing that matters is what you do day in, day out, because that's what people think of your brand. And my other favorite definition is the Jeff Bezos one, which is a brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And why I like that one is in today's world, you're always in the room, because if I were to make a slip of the tongue and a mistake, I may well have done, I hope not, you'd immediately tweet about it and I'll be fired before I've finished speaking. So, you know, you're always in the room, and that's why brands have to be transparent and visible. But I also think we've seen some other great things today. I particularly love some of the RGA work that is world-changing, actually, so that agricultural product, absolutely magnificent. Congratulations for that. I like the way you're looking at doing innovation and collaborating and working together. And actually, I'm reminded that the only thing that matters in the end are the people of marketing. You'll recognize some faces there. Sorry, I couldn't get you all up there. If I'd have done a picture earlier, I could have put you all up there. But we're the people that can make sure marketing survives, flourishes, and is always done in the right way. And I think, you know, I'd like to make sure you avoid these 7 sins of marketing so that we don't kill it. I think we can be optimistic about the future. And I think, actually, this is an appropriate picture to end with. It's not my funeral. That's a picture that's supposed to give you a warm and fuzzy feeling of goodness, because I think, you know, as marketers, we have real responsibilities. First of all, to the companies that pay our salaries, we must look after the assets they ask us to cherish for them. Second, to marketing itself, we need to be proud of what we do, and we need to do it to the best of our abilities. Thirdly, and I think this is crucial, to the people of marketing and the people we need to bring into marketing to help it continue to flourish. But I think if we do all of that, if we look after marketing, cherish it, nourish it, and excel at it, then marketing will surely continue to flourish. And the next time I come back here, I look forward to seeing all the brilliant work that you will do, having listened and learnt today. Thank you very much.